And welcome to Tim's Off Grid. This morning we're going to talk about some single rope techniques for ascending rope. We're going to be using a Klemheist prusik and a French prusik, as well as a Clove Hitch as a backup. So I'm going to start from the very bottom of the rope. You always want to have a stopper nut in the rope. So I'll make a loop. I'll twist that twice, and then I'm going to bring the rope back through that loop to make my figure eight. Put a good stopper knot at the bottom of the rope. So there we are. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a clove hitch. So make a loop, make a second loop, put that loop behind the first loop, hold it there for a second. Grab your carabiner, slide it through, and that is your figure eight as your backup knot. So we'll be pulling, well, let me flip that over. We'll pull slack through this as we get going. All right, after the clove hitch, we've got to do our French prusik. So we're going to have our prusik offset a little bit here for the French prusik. You're going to hold your knot there, and you're going to make about 5 wraps. The French prusik is way easier to slide than many others, so that's why we're going to use it with our foot ascender, so to speak. You'll notice when you get here towards the end, the rope's got to want to twist. That's normal. You're going to see that a lot. So just try to continue to dress it as best as you can there at the end. Then grab your carabiner. Go through the top, go through the bottom, flip it over. Make sure it screws down so you don't screw up. And then I just made a simple foot loop with another piece of rope that I had. Well, actually 2 pieces of rope. And I just put a simple overhead knot at the bottom for my foot to fit in. And you can adjust this as needed by overhand knots, etc. Screw back up. Put the foot ascender in there, screw back down. Uh-oh. All right, that's a normal occurrence here. So again, the French prusik slides really easy. So this will be nice when we're needing to move this as we're going up the rope. Next, we need to do our Klemheist. I made this one kind of long. You'll do what works for you, depending on how you're climbing, what type of surface you're climbing, etc. All right, so with this, we start out with first off, offset your knot. So knot's offset, and I've grabbed a little bite right here. So I'm going to have that here. I'm going to make a bunch of loops here, probably about 5 or 6 for my Klemheist. And it's going to be a prusik that is less likely to slip. That's why you want to use it up top. Works very, very well. Goes in one direction. All right, when you have all your loops done, make sure your loop up here was large enough to where your double fisherman can fit through there too. So we're going to come back through the loop with our end of our prusik, and then pull down and put our carabiner on there. All right, so there we are. That's your Klemheist. We're going to put a carabiner on there. And get that ready. So, again, this pulls in one direction. You take it and unlock it, move it, put weight on it, unlock, etc. So you're going to see how this works here in a minute. All right. With a harness, your shirt's going to be tucked down through your harness. You don't want any of that stuff to get in the way. Ideally, tuck your shirt into your pants, etc. So we're going to start with the clove hitch. All right. And that's going to be down at the bottom of our harness. Next, we're going to have our Klemheist above. Make sure we screw down. All right. We're already screwed down with our foot loop. Next, stick your foot through your foot loop. And this will be your initial setup. And I wanted to make sure we were close for this. Then I'm going to back up the camera so that you get a better view of me going up here. But that's our initial setup. You're going to pull slack through the clove hitch as your backup knot. You always need a backup over time. And then we're gradually going to, sit back, move, stand up, unlock, move, stand, and so forth. All right, here we go. Clipping in. And again, these are techniques that I use. I'm in no way a professional. I'm not saying this is expert methods for doing any of this. I'm giving you guides for what works for me. So that's my disclaimer here. So put your foot in the foot loop. Get ready to go. Pull all your slack out of your Klemheist. So get that good and snug. Sit back. All right. So we're going to sit back. And now I can move the foot loop. So you can grab the rope here at the bottom and move that right up. Don't grab the prusik and stand up. Unlock it by just flipping it over. Move it up like that. And then sit back. After you sit back, grab the rope, move your French prusik up. Not grab the prusik, grab above it. And see, this is where we probably adjust the length on this one because, see, I'm moving it up. It's almost out of my reach. It's almost wanting me to grab the prusik. Don't grab the prusik. Grab above it. Stand up. So this time I won't go quite as high with it. And sit back. Then grab your French prusik. Slide it up. And grab above. Stand up again. Move it. Sit back. And see, there's going to be some movement as you're moving around. It'd be different if you had a tree in front of you. Something to kick off of. All right. Now you say, how in the heck did I get back down? All right. So I'm going to move the French prusik up a little bit so I can stand up and take weight off the Klemheist. All right. Unlock your Klemheist. Slide it down. Sit back down. Now notice, for what we're doing here, you see we weren't paying attention to the clove hitch. So don't forget about that when you're climbing. Pull that slack through there. And keep adjusting that while you're climbing. Never forget. All right, again, I'm sitting here in the harness. I need to bring my foot loop right on down. So let me do that right quick. All right. But not too far because I need to stand up to take the weight off of the Klemheist. Unlock. Slide that down. Slowly. Sit back. Slide down. Stand up. Unlock. Slide that down. And then you're back on the ground again. So that's it. Single rope technique using a Klemheist and French prusik with the clove hitches back up. Hope you enjoyed it. And again, just technique to use. Not a professional. Do this in my spare time, just learning better techniques. It's not normal that you would have to use this technique. You normally be using all your professional ascending gear, hand ascender, gree, or whatever else that you use. But if you were in a situation and you were stuck and all you had were links of rope or prusiks hanging on your sides here, you would have a technique to get yourself out of a bind. So you always want to learn some of these basics that can get you out of a situation so you don't need to be rescued. So take the time to learn some of these. I think of it kind of like in the beginning when we learned HTML instead of using WYSIWYG. But probably now that's what everybody does. Anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Thumbs up. See y'all.